Hello there. Welcome to Hey, Let's Have a Talk with Theo White, where we talk about any and everything, but keeping it real. Transparency is key. So I hope you enjoy what is coming on today's episode of Hey, Let's Have a Talk podcast with Theo White. Hello. How's everybody doing? On today's episode, I want to talk about encouragement. I want to talk about encouraging one another and building each other up. There is so much hate going on in this world when God is all about love. So I really want to hit on that. See, I was a kid once whose mother only wanted to buy shoes from Payless. My shoes was called Pro Wings, and them shoes never lasted me longer than 3 or 4 days because I was that kid that was always ripping and running in the streets. I mean, literally running all over the place, through the woods, everything. So I would tear them shoes up quick. So even though they were cheap, they still didn't last long because my mom would still have to spend more money. And it took up to one day I was running up to my stepdad and asked where was he going, and he looked down and saw my shoes, as they say, they were flapping, they were talking to me. And he said, get in the van. You can ride with me. And he actually took me to Sears. I'll never forget. We went to Sears and he bought me 2 pair of Nikes. Never had Nikes before. And I loved them and they lasted a long time. But I've dealt with being bullied. I dealt with being talked about because I didn't dress like others. So that's what this episode is about. Encouraging one another and building each other up. See, someone didn't grow up with a silver spoon in their mouth, and someone didn't have the name brand shoes or the name brand clothes, and they could only wear what their parents could even afford, or as we call them, hand-me-downs. Don't get me wrong, because hand-me-downs, listen, I've had some hand-me-downs. I went and bought clothes even as an adult at Goodwill and made them look good. So right along with encouraging one another, I had to learn how to encourage myself. But I wanted to read this story to you real quick. It says, your bees are swarming. My wife stuck her head inside the door and gave me news no beekeeper wants to hear. I ran outside to see thousands of bees flying up from the hive to the top of the tall pine, never to return. I was a little behind in reading the clues that the hives was about to swarm. More than a week of storms had hampered my inspections. The morning the storms ended, the bees left. The colony was new and healthy, and the bees were actually dividing the colony to start a new one. Don't be hard on yourself. An experienced beekeeper told me cheerfully after seeing my disappointment, this can happen to anyone. Encouragement is a winsome gift. When David was disheartened because Saul was pursuing him to take his life, Saul's son Jonathan encouraged David, don't be afraid. Jonathan said, my father Saul will not lay a hand on you. You will be king over Israel, and I will be second to you. Even my father Saul knows this. Those are surprisingly selfless words from someone next in line to the throne. It's likely Jonathan recognized that God was with David. So he spoke out of a humble heart of faith. All around us are people who need encouragement. God will help us help them as we humble ourselves before him and ask him to love them through us. See, there's a thing about humility. And sometimes we fail to humble ourselves when we get too high and mighty and think that we are better than the next one. Some people get promotions on a job and all of a sudden they went from being your friend to really, yes, they are now your boss, but at the same time, they forgot how to talk to you. They forgot how to treat you, and that's with respect. I've seen people move up to management positions or even team lead spots and think that they are above the person next to them. I've had someone tell me, I'm going to be your boss, and when I become your boss, I'm going to fire you. But I mean, all because you and your feelings, because I'm trying to encourage you to do your job. And you don't want no one to tell you what to do. See, there is a time to boast about what God has done in your life, and there's a time to just be humble and quiet. I believe that God has really shown us throughout the Bible days of how to be humble and treat each other with love. I believe that's why a lot of people run from the church house. Why they don't want to go to church, because of religion and how religion treats people that are not religious. I've learned over the years of being the man of God that I am, growing, that I have to meet people right where they are. I'm not supposed to judge them. I'm supposed to love the hell out of them. I'm not supposed to talk about them. I'm supposed to pray for them. And sometimes we get so caught up with thinking that because we've been in church all our lives, that we forget where we come from. See, even though you've been in church all your life, you still have an attitude problem. You still have a gossiping problem. You still sin. That's why his word says, he that is without sin cast the first stone. So we are supposed to encourage one another, and whoever is listening to this, keep your head up. Strive for the stars. Whatever your dream is, don't give up on it. Keep praying about it. Keep pressing. And I'm praying with you that one day that dream of yours will come true. But don't let anyone discourage you. Don't let anyone bring you down by talking negative. See, power of life and death is in the tongue, and if we are not careful with how we speak a thing, we can even speak ill over ourselves. When we say that we're sick, we become sick. But instead, we need to claim that we're healed. We need to claim that we will prosper in everything that God will have us to do. We need to claim out of our mouths that we are more than a conqueror. We need to profess a thing and open up our mouths and talk about how beautiful you really are, that you are God's creation. Stop calling yourself ugly because the man that you are with or have been with have talked about you, called you out of your name. No, you are not. You are who God created you to be. So if a man or a woman cannot respect you enough to call you by your name, your birthright name, they don't need to be in your life. Forgive them and walk away. Let it go. To you that might be looking in the mirror right now, yes, you may have some imperfections, that is imperfections to you. But let me explain to you how God sees you, that you are beautifully made. You may be struggling trying to get a job right now. It seems very hard in this time, but understand this: you are more than a conqueror. And I'm praying that whoever this is for, that God will bless you with the job that you need, with the job that you're looking for. Jesus. Financial breakthrough to take place in your life, where you no longer have to struggle to meet ends meet. You no longer have to struggle to put food in your house. You no longer have to struggle to take care of your kids. See, God is doing some great things with some people in this world, but because others have been hurt, they don't want to hear the love that is coming from us. In 1 Thessalonians 5, starting with verse 9, it says, "For God chose to save us through our Lord Jesus Christ, not to pour out his anger on us. Christ died for us so that Christ died for us so that whether we are dead or alive, when he returns, we can live with him forever. So encourage each other and build each other up just as you are already doing." As you near the end of a long race, your legs ache, your throat burns, and your whole body cries out for you to stop. This is when friends and fans are most valuable. Their encouragement helps you push through the pain to the finish line. In the same way, Christians are to encourage one another, be sensitive to others' need for encouragement, and offer supportive words or actions. I remember when I was running a 2-mile for my 2-mile test, part of my PT test when I was in the Army. And my first sergeant, he was trying to encourage me. "You got it. Keep going. You got it. Keep going." And my body was telling me something else. My body was saying I'm hurting. My body was saying I'm tired. My legs were saying just give up. Just quit so we can rest. Oh my gosh, you're wearing me out. And I looked at my first sergeant and I told him, "Pray." He said, "What?" I said, "Just pray." And I kept pushing. I kept pushing, and I passed. But it was the encouragement that kept me going, to focus on what he was saying. You can do this, and not focus on what my body was saying by, "No, let's stop, let's quit, let's give up, let's throw in the towel." So if you are having dreams of owning your own business, write the vision and make it plain. Write everything down that you need. Do your research on what you got to do to start your business, what you need to keep your business going. If you think that your marriage is over, but you know that there is a way that you can make this thing work, press. Put it in God's hands. Tell him what you want. Speak those things that be not as though they were. Too many relationships are ending, marriages ending because of the stupid things that we do, by not allowing God to be that third rope in that 3-chord relationship. We would rather listen to those on the outside that is living a hellish life and got all kind of issues going on in their marriage or their relationships and trying to give us some marital advice. Know who you're talking to. So understand. You may not wear the best clothes. You may not wear the best shoes. You are still a child of God. All you have to do is continue to press and do your best. Put God first in everything that you are doing. And watch what God do for you. If they're still talking about you, they're not your friends. If they're not giving you helpful information, they are not your friends. And even when you come against those that talk about you, you don't have to rear back. You don't have to fight back, because I believe the word says, do not touch my anointed and do my prophets no harm. So you just got to continue to press and do what God has called you to do. Because one thing I know is that the word says man will fail you. So don't put your faith and trust in man. Put it in God. That's all you have to do. So once again, I thank you for tuning in to Hey, Let's Have a Talk. Remember, encourage one another and build each other up. Until the next episode, I love you, and God bless.